I heard a knock at my office door, and I froze. My boss was standing there with a clipboard, and he had that look on his face again. It was the look he gave me when I came in late one day and found him in the break room staring directly at the wall. He also stared at the wall after I told him about my sick mother, and he didn't even ask what was wrong. So I figured it was time to find out what kind of person I was actually working for. I knew where he lived from when we did our team-building exercise last month. The idea was to get to know our boss better. We had to go to his house and play laser tag. We lost 12-10. He kept saying the scores were wrong, but I think he was just trying to keep morale up. I didn't want to admit it, but I'd been lying to myself about how well I got along with my boss. I mean, he was all right, but I wasn't exactly thrilled to be spending my Saturday with him. It took us forever to get to his house because he kept stopping at strange roadside attractions like World's Largest Ball of Yarn or World's Largest Ball of Cheese. I always wanted to tell him those weren't real, but I never did. Instead, I just sat in the car plotting ways I could kill him and make it look like an accident. My colleagues seemed happy enough, though. Sarah from accounting was flirting with him and Mark from IT was taking photos of everything. When we finally got to his house, it looked like a regular suburban home, except for these strange symbols painted on the side of it. I tried to catch Mark taking a photo of them, but he acted innocent and said he only had eyes for the interior design. As soon as we walked in, though, I knew something was off. The walls were covered in the same symbols that were on the outside of the house. There was even a mural of them on the staircase landing. Then I saw him, my boss, the man I worked for, standing by the window staring out into space. It was that look again. He turned around and smiled at us all. His teeth were really white and straight. Too perfect. I asked if anyone else thought his smile was weird, or was it just me? No one responded. They were all busy taking photos for some reason. We played laser tag after that, and he still insisted that the score was wrong. Later, Sarah came up to me while we were taking turns shooting at each other and asked me what I was waiting for. She said she liked me and asked me out, but I couldn't go because I had plans to kill my boss. So I politely declined her offer and went back to trying to beat her at laser tag. On the way home, I started planning how I was going to do it. I considered chloroform, but he might have a gas mask. Maybe I could tie him up with duct tape, but then I remembered he was always wearing a hat and a jacket. Even inside his own house, I couldn't risk not being able to tie up his whole body. Then I remembered my mother-in-law's house had an ironing board outside. I got an idea. He was always so neat and tidy. I bet he pressed his own shirts. I imagined him sitting down to iron his clothes, unsuspecting, unaware that his end was near. I'd wait until the day before his presentation to the board of directors, and I would sneak into his house and place the ironing board outside his window. Then, when he went to press his shirt, the weight of the ironing board would cause him to fall to his death. It was genius. The only problem was I needed to get inside his house to leave the ironing board outside his window. I tried his front door that night, but it was locked. I walked around to the backyard and tried the sliding glass door, but that was locked too. And then I noticed the basement window. It was open. Someone had clearly left it open. I crept closer and peeked inside. I couldn't see anything because it was pitch black. I was about to climb in when I heard footsteps behind me. I spun around and saw Mark from IT holding a camera. He said, "Say, OP, got a minute?" I think he was trying to blackmail me. He probably saw me sneaking around my boss's house and he thought he could use it to get more money out of me. But little did he know, I already had dirt on him. I'd seen him taking photos of Sarah in the hot tub during our team-building event. I told him I had a minute. We went over to his car and he told me he had a proposition for me. He wanted to work together to kill our boss. Apparently, he hated our boss too. He told me he'd seen him doing weird stuff with the plants in his backyard. I didn't ask what he meant by weird stuff, but it sounded bad. Also, he was talking about hard drugs. I didn't do drugs anymore, but I used to. I was good at getting high, and I was good at hiding it. I agreed to help him. We decided to go to his house that weekend and steal his laptop. We were both careful not to get caught, but when we got to his kitchen, we found a strange contraption made out of tin foil and wires hooked up to his refrigerator. We both assumed this was his drug setup. I don't know what drugs you can cook up in a garage, but if it involved a fridge, I wasn't sure I wanted to be a part of it anymore. Mark told me to stop being a baby and let it go. He said he'd cut me in if I helped him get his laptop back. I couldn't risk getting arrested, but I also didn't want to lose the chance to kill my boss. So I agreed to go back. His bedroom was off limits during the stakeout, but I snuck in while Mark was watching the front door. I searched everywhere, but I couldn't find anything on his computer. Then I spotted his phone on the nightstand. I grabbed it and hid it under my jacket. I made it back to the car without Mark noticing. I slipped the phone into my pocket and ran away. When I got home, I went straight to my bathroom and threw up. I didn't want to live with the guilt of betraying my friend Mark, but I also didn't want to get caught stealing my boss's property. I was feeling sick. That's when I checked my boss's phone. I wasn't expecting anything, but maybe there was a message on voicemail that would explain why he treated us so poorly. I typed in the passcode 1234 and got into his phone. There was nothing on his phone except for a voicemail. I clicked on it. A woman's voice said, "Zorg, it's me. Call me back when you get this." Zorg. Was that his name? Why did his name sound like a Star Wars character? I deleted the voicemail and put the phone back in my pocket. I knew I shouldn't, but I couldn't resist checking on his Wi-Fi. I opened my laptop and logged on to his Wi-Fi. I was just curious about the password. I had no idea what I was looking for, but I hoped to find something. Anything that would help me understand my boss and give me an advantage in the workplace. That's when I found it, a video called Zorg Explains. I clicked on it. My boss was in it, but he wasn't explaining anything. He was showing me the plants in his backyard. He said things like, "The fungal spores are nearly mature and should be harvested soon." He seemed very pleased with himself. I'll need to split the colony once it reaches maximum efficiency. I watched as he dug something up out of the ground. I think it was a root, but it didn't look right. I don't know much about plants, but I know my boss is definitely up to something. But now I'm worried that Mark will come after me. He must have seen me log on to my boss's Wi-Fi. If he finds out I stole his phone, he'll come after me. But then again, if I don't find out what my boss is up to, then I'm not doing my job. I'll have to confront him eventually. I just hope I'm ready for what comes next. Thanks for watching. See you next week.